Okay. I just got off work and I got home and I got everything done. I had to work double today and stuff. So I was going to respond in a text, but then I was like, I'll just add the response in this video because I'm sure other people need to hear it too. I was asked, what is the difference between a twin flame and a karmic? Okay, I'm going to tell you, like you can find a lot of information out on the internet. But the biggest thing that you need to know, the biggest difference is you. Like, when you meet your twin flame, it's not about the other person. Is your twin flame going to be perfect? No. They are going to be the mirror to you. Like, you're going to have an instant soul recognition. Like, if you're the divine feminine, you're going to notice, you're going to know them on a soul level. Like, I don't know how to explain this. Me personally, one of the things, I could not handle being in big crowds. Like, I got really bad anxiety and I always felt like I was looking for someone. Which at the same time, people would be like, I feel so, like they never feel lonely. How to explain this? Like, I could feel like I'm surrounded by a million people, but I felt like I was alone because I felt like I was always looking for something or someone. When I met my twin, that ended. It like 100% went away. Now, I'm sure that everyone's going to have their own thing for like a longing or whatever. But I remember before I met my twin, I used to like say that to people and they were like, that's not normal. Well, I'm not normal. I mean, that's the way that I always took it. But when I met my twin, that went away. That, whatever that was in me, healed. Your twin flame will be the catalyst for your soul's healing. Like, they come in to awaken you to the path that you need to go on for healing. Can make it to the point where they end up in union together. But a lot do not. A lot do not, for the sole reason that their body or their soul has went through so much trauma that when you meet your twin, they trigger all of these things within you that you have unhealed. You ever heard that saying, if you don't start to heal your childhood wounding, then it's going to be brought up in your relationships. That's where you'll have to heal it. So if you have the ability to heal your childhood wounding, that is the best thing, because when you meet your twin is not going to trigger you. It's not going to be about you triggering your twin. It's going to be, if you have a lot of healing to do, your twin is going to trigger you. Now, if you are a divine masculine, then you're just prone to run. Okay, I don't know why. Like it could be because a lot of times that the male grew up in the feminine form energy, the feminine energy, and the female grew up a lot of times in the masculine energy. When you hit a time in your life when you are in your right energy, that's when you are going to call your twin in. And that's when it's going to set your soul on like the soul healing journey. A karmic is going to be an a-hole. Okay, like they can be an a-hole all day long. They can hurt you, and there's going to be absolutely no reason for it other than the fact that you need to learn to put up boundaries. Because anybody that comes in and hurts you in any way, shape, or form, they are actually teaching you something. But the difference in between them teaching you something is with your twin, your twin is going to be, it's kind of like if you have a brother and a sister that are exactly like twins. They're so much alike on a soul level that they trigger one another. And I posted this on another thing. If you ever see twins, like the twin flames, that look like, you know, they grew up in one of the states in the South where they're like, you know, dating their brother or their sister or something like that. There's a reason for that. The reason is those are the twins that actually have self-esteem issues. Like they feel insecure about how they look and all this other kind of stuff. And what that's going to do is if your twin comes in and looks just like you, those things that you found hideous about yourself, when you look at your twin, you're going to see nothing but pure beauty. And so that's going to help heal that. Like me, when I was growing up, I was really tall. I used to get picked on all the time because I was tall. So, of course, my twin would be a male who gets picked on for something like that. So, what do you think he would come in? He's going to come in and he's going to be short. It's because whenever you see that dynamic, like maybe it's not, usually the short guy usually doesn't date the really tall girl. Usually the tall girl doesn't date the really short man or whatever. Or it's not what you've normally dated. But whenever you meet your twin, it's not going to matter. It's not supposed to matter. If it matters, that means there's some kind of healing that you have to do. But for the most part, when you're tapped in and you see, you know, that one thing doesn't bother you about your twin, like, and your twin comes in and they accept you, it's like it helps you heal in that manner. Now, you're going to have people that are going to come in and hurt you just for no reason. If you're not listening to where you're supposed to be, like literally, you can just be hurt for no reason. For the fact that you are supposed to have learned to put your boundaries up. But in all roundness about it, you know, your twin is going to be the one that through the pain that you go through, is going to be the one that helps you heal on a soul level. When your twin runs, if you've never had to be the twin that got your twin ran on, you need to pray and thank God, because I'm going to tell you right now, when a twin runs, they send the other twin into what is called the dark night of the soul. It is the most painful, most depressing, most awful feeling that any human being could ever feel in their entire life. And I hope that that twins are listening to me right now. I'm going to tell you right now that I'm really strong and I have made it through some horrible, hard shit in my life. But when I hit the dark night of the soul because my twin left the first time, fuck that. I almost gave up on life completely. Like, that is like, no joke, the worst shit that anyone can go through. Do they have to go through that? No. You know how they don't have to go through that? The twin does not run from their other twin. It doesn't matter whether they are in a relationship or not, but when one twin runs, it purposely sends the other twin into the darkness. It's like when one twin is wanting to hide the light that they have, it hurts the other twin. I don't think that most people realize that. Like, when I met my twin and I heard, that your twin runs, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to start healing. Maybe, maybe if I heal all this shit that I have that's wrong with me, that's toxic with me, maybe it will help my twin heal, because that's how it works. When one twin heals, the other one will be put on the path to heal too. Okay? But when one twin runs, the other one goes into what's known as the dark night of the soul. To me, just thinking about that time, like, tears me to pieces. The first time you go into the dark night of the soul, if you don't know what it is, this is honestly the reason why I believe that a lot of people commit suicide. When one twin runs, it pulls up every single insecurity in you. When a twin runs, it brings up every single insecurity, every single situation, every single problem, everything, all to the forefront. So you can decide, are you going to run from it? Or are you going to take it on? And a lot of people, when their twin runs, when a twin runs, it's because they're running from themselves. Now, if you're the twin on the other side, and half of you is already saying, I'm running from myself, it makes it very easy for that twin to want to literally run out of this world, because their twin is sending off all of this energy. Like, it's like a beacon. It's like, it's a beacon that tells you you're not good enough. If you can't even get your twin to not run, that means you are so unhealed and so damaged from all of the things that have hurt you, and you've pushed it all aside because you've focused on everyone and everything else, and then your twin comes in and you see yourself in your twin, and then your twin runs. it makes you want to run too. Because you're twins, you do the same, right? Twin flames are what is called quantum entanglement. It's proven through Einstein's theory. And that you have the atoms and you have the photons, which is what proves that twin flames exist. That photons, no matter where they are on one side of the world to the other, when one person is affected, it affects the other photon. In the Bible, it would be described as the story of Adam and Eve. How Adam went to God and was like, everyone has someone else, but I have no one. And so God took that Adam and he pulled Eve from it. So it is now two beings, two life forms with one soul. Because God didn't start and breathe into another human from the beginning. He pulled Eve from Adam. Eve was a part of Adam. And so when one affects one, it affects the other. So when one twin runs, the other twin wants to run too. And if you have the ability to not run, but maybe stay in contact while you're healing, you don't have to be in a relationship. Twins can be friends. But if you run from your twin, you are literally telling the universe, I'm running from myself. So it's going to send all of this energy towards your twin that they should run from self too. And if your divine feminine has been through some shit, and you run, I don't know if the other twin ever realizes exactly what their twin feels. What got me through was I seen a man who was the divine feminine, and his twin ran. Because at this point I didn't know anything about Dark Night of the Soul or anything like that. And I watched this guy talk about what he was going through. And it's one of the reasons, it's the sole purpose reason that I didn't go through and delete all of my old content, where before I knew like what was going on, to the point where, you know, like every time I would get on here, I was like bawling my eyes out. Literally, I was using tarot, talking to God. Even though I was crying, it was like taking my mind off of me for just a little while, so that I could make it through just a little bit. Because when I got off and I untapped from everybody else's energy and I felt back into mine, there was way too much pain. And then I lost people, and that gave me even more trauma. My twin ran twice. The second time, because I already knew. I had already went through all the studying and everything. I knew how to handle it, but not handle it at the same time. Like, at that point, I was like, if my twin's gonna run again, I cannot do this again. I can't. Like, I barely made it through the first time. Like, that's why I told my twin, please do not run. Like, I made him promise me that he would not run again. He broke that promise. Out of anything that he could have done to me, running from me the second time, hurt. I turned to somewhat even make it through. I turned and I focused on everything else. The stuff I'm not supposed to do. When you go into the dark night of the soul, you are supposed to focus on you. You are supposed to go through your healing, realize where all of your triggers are. But the second time you have to go through it, you just instantly know you can't do it by yourself. I held space for my twin the first time he ran. The second time he ran, I knew there was no way in hell I would make it through that shit again. Luckily, I had a divinely guided soulmate come in. And I think God knew. I think God knew that I couldn't do it alone this time. So he sent my soulmate. My soulmate from the beginning, because at that point I wasn't ready to learn everything. Starting over, like going through what I had went through, like in the past, and then having my twin run. I just was not in the mood to learn what someone's favorite color is again. So I really feel like God purposely sent someone from my past that I loved. Even though we had fought before in the past many times. And the way that I coped was I turned everything that I was supposed to focus on, and I put all of my energy and all of my time into another person, which was the complete wrong thing to do, because then I taught him it was all about him. So I created problems myself, because how you act at the beginning, or how you treat someone, or how you allow things to go, that's how someone believes it's meant to go. And what you allow will continue. So because I was, once again, putting all of my time and my attention into something outside of self instead of doing my work. God started being like, hey, you had a little bit of time. It's time to start doing some of this work. And I started to do some of my healing work. And then everything got really bad. And at that point, I realized I love someone so much that I lost myself. I lost myself because I started the relationship because I was running from myself. And just like the story of Jonah, you can only run from where you're supposed to go for so long. And if you don't listen, that protection that you had, like around your relationship or whatever, it'll come off. And God will allow things to become uncomfortable so that you find it less uncomfortable to go the way that you were supposed to go. Now, if I would have kept healing on myself, if the person I was with would have allowed there to be me in the relationship, I think it would have turned out different. But there was no room for me in that relationship because I built that relationship without me in it. I built that relationship based solely around the person that I was with. Because if I could focus all of my time and all of my attention on him and the kids, I never had to go a single moment and deal with myself. Those relationships will end when you act in that way. Because when it's time for you to come back to you, when God starts saying, it's time for you to do your work. I've protected you this long. I've allowed you to have this time. Now you got to do your work because you have a lot of work to do to help others. I asked my person to heal what had been broken in between us. Not my twin, my person. And he didn't want to. He didn't want to put any work into me because I allowed him to believe that I would be the only one that put in all of the work. Because I did. I watched the kids. I cooked. I cleaned. My kids are grown. I was always the one traveling. I was always the one doing. I was always the one giving of my time and my attention. And at the time, that's what I needed. In a way, he saved me just as much as I did him. Maybe more so. Because I would not have made it through that shit again. So I'm going to say this right now. If you are a divine masculine or a divine feminine, because I'm sure the divine masculine can go into the dark night of the soul as well. You have to remember, when you take all the sunlight, you send your twin into the darkness. Your twin, though, is the one who sets you on the path. Sets you on the path of healing. If my twin would not have ran this last time and we would have worked, like in my mind, I wonder if I would have done the same, just like absorbed into him. And I wonder if it would have turned out the same. If I would have asked for someone to help me heal, to help, they would say no. Because in all honesty, I didn't want to heal. I didn't want to go through the healing. And as within, so without. When you don't want to heal on a soul level because you're afraid, because it's hurt, others will treat you the same. Others will give you bare minimum because you gave yourself bare minimum. And your twin is when this is going to start. The difference between a karmic and a twin flame is you. Because it's all about you. You have to heal. From all of the things that you had been running from. When you don't, your twin runs. Or there are sent tests, aka the karmics. The ones that will come in and will tempt your person away to see where their loyalty stands. If your loyalty doesn't stand with you, yourself, not your twin, if your loyalty doesn't stand with you, your twin's loyalty will not stand with you either. Because they are going to mirror to you. You. Because they are you. Your twin is you. The karmics just come in to teach you the lessons that you have to learn. A lot of them are about saying no, putting up a boundary. some of them come in to teach you what you don't want. You have divinely guided soulmates. And you can end up with them and be happy, because your soulmate, your divinely guided soulmate, is someone who it's supposed to be easy. I mean, I kind of made it easy on mine because I kind of just disappeared in my relationship. So there was no me, but at the same time, I wasn't crying by myself every single night, wanting to die like the first time. But normally, you have a soulmate come in, and a soulmate is easier if you don't have a lot of past trauma. If you don't have a lot of triggers, your soulmate will be easier. If you have a lot of past trauma, if you have a big job on this earth, if you have to help people make it through a lot on this earth, then it's going to be harder. Look. Disregarded, tossed to the side. When you always threw yourself out of importance, your twin will throw you out like the trash. They will treat you like the trash. Because how you feel is how they're going to see you. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, like twin flame telepathy, you know, the dreams. The twin flame dreams are insane, because whether you're together in the 3D or not, your 5D characters are married. Like, because you're married, because you are one, so to speak. A lot of people don't end up with their twin, but that doesn't mean they don't ultimately end up with it. They just don't have it for this lifetime. Kind of, as I said, you know, I tell everybody with the story of Noah. Not Noah, Moses. Moses wandered through the desert for 40 years. Because he was promised the promised land. And he disobeyed God right before he got there. So his biggest blessing, what he was supposed to reach, became his biggest curse. Because that which he was doing to get to that point, he never made it because he didn't listen. We can lose what is meant for us. It's not the theory in the 3D here on earth is the only way that I mean this. In the 3D here on earth, it's not what is meant for us will always be for us, because we can fuck it up, because we have free will. That's kind of the whole point of free will. You know, if you don't want to be with someone, God is not going to force you to be with someone. So in other words, during the 3D, just because it's meant for you does not mean it's always going to be for you. You can still lose them in the 3D, but in the 5D, you'll come back together, and that's where you will get it all. But it doesn't mean that you're going to obtain it here on earth. Here on earth, you have to actually do your shit and listen. Anyways, you will have a lot of downloads from your twin. Karmics, you will not. Karmics will physically abuse you. Twins will not. What is morally right and wrong in your book should be the basis standard for what your twin feels too. Now, will they go against those morals at times? Yeah, because, I mean, they're still human. Like, they make mistakes, even though they'll get that temptation and they'll cross it, but then they'll feel guilty for it, so to speak. It's kind of like, you know, if you're not loyal to someone and your twin is loyal and you're loyal and they are not loyal, that was a test for that person. Okay, twin flame tests are not easy. They're usually pretty hard to pass because you level up on like a different level. I'm not gonna lie. When you level up and you get the gifts, some of them are not so fun. Some of them will like have you freaked out. Some of them I'm just saying, okay? Like, it's just weird. You'll just be sitting in the bathtub. You'll just be sitting in the bathtub. Because it's the one time where you feel like you can sit and be calm. And here comes someone that's passed on that wants to talk to you. Because now your energy's open and you unlock that gift. So, each level, because a twin flame, passing the goal unlocks different things. I was doing a reading and I actually didn't post it. I have, for some reason, Spirit has me do these readings, but then they'll be in my thing and Spirit doesn't want me to post them yet because it's just not time, I guess. Well, I was doing a reading. Someone's going to get punched in the face, like instantly. Like, I felt the pain in my face. I felt the blood, and then like blood filled my mouth. Okay. It's like sometimes it's cool because you know, some of the gifts are cool, but some of them just are not. It's like whenever you have to smell something so horrible and it's not what's around you and you have to like, I don't know how to explain it. Some smells just are not good. Like for the longest time, I wasn't even able to smell at all. Like I couldn't smell anything till I got older and I found, you know, some allergy medicine that actually worked. But yeah, the level up for a twin flame and the gift that they get is a really big gift. But at the same time, it's kind of like you bigger prizes equal bigger demons. Like today, I woke up and obviously I had been crying in my dreams, well, in my sleep. And I think there was like 2 years. 2 years I was allergic to my tears. Like if I would cry, I would instantly break out in a big rash. Like my face right now, I don't know if you can see it. Like I usually don't have bad skin. Like I usually don't have pimples. Or whatever. Like I have like the redness. And like my skin is like randomly lighter. in some spots. See how like I have a big white patch right there where I have no normal color. Anyways, I had developed this thing where like I was just allergic to my tears. So last night I was crying because of like my dreams. In my dreams, and sometimes I have intense dreams, sometimes I don't. And what's the Bible say? The Bible says, before the coming of the righteousness, the old men will have visions, the young men will dream dreams. So it's like I get like weird downloads in dreams, and then I get more so these downloads throughout my day. When you're a twin flame, there's a telepathic connection. Whether someone wants to use it or not, you don't have to, you can. But within the feeling thing, the first time I ever had that happen to me, I lost someone. And I could not tell. It was right at the beginning. Like, I could not tell if it was, I thought it was my twin having a heart attack and dying because I felt it. I literally felt like I was having a heart attack, but I knew it wasn't me. I don't know how to explain to like normal humans someone else is having a heart attack because I feel it. I thought it was my twin. My twin had already left at this point. It was like the week that he left. And someone really close to me passed away from a heart attack that day. And had I already had that developed within me, and I knew how, that was that little bit of guilt that I felt. But that's one of the things that you can unlock too. Some are good, some are bad, but I mean, it's all a part of being a messenger, I guess. Yeah. So, in all, whatever about it, if you need your twin, if you want to have your twin, one, you have to detach from the outcome. Step one. You have to get to a point where you believe that this person is never coming back. If they've been gone and they're not instantly coming back. Because it's you teaching you that you can do it on your own. You don't need your twin, though you long for them. As long as you are doing the work. You detach from the outcome. Like, I had got to a point where I was like, you know what? Screw it. If you have that hardcore codependency, see, I didn't have it with anybody else before my twin. Like everybody else I had, in my life, they always left. And I believe, that's what my twin went through too. So for the fact that he ran from me, like, I think kind of made it that much worse. But you can't, one of the things you'll learn is that you can't take it personal. I mean, it's going to feel personal. In the long run, in the long run, you're going to find out why. And it won't be as painful. Does it mean you're going to forgive your twin for what they did to you? No. Will you forgive your twin? Yeah. You can't hate your twin forever. It's not possible. They're your twin. You have to forgive them. If you forgive yourself, when you start to love yourself, you will instantly just forgive your twin, whether you want to or not. Believe me, sometimes you want to hate your twin so bad because it would make life so much easier. But that's not possible. If they're your twin, it's not possible to hate your twin, because then you would be saying that you hate yourself, and that's another thing that you would have to heal. It's kind of like, I don't know. I don't know why. Sorry, I have ADHD. Sometimes I get distracted. I was talking about my skin, like, but I woke up this morning and I was broke out in hives. So I don't know if someone is like, if they're going to get sick, if they're going to get a rash, or if they're finding something new that they are allergic to. I'm feeling like a heat rash. Like maybe someone gets really sick and they get that whole cheeks are red kind of thing. I don't know. I don't know why I need to say that in this story time, whatever. But, or there's going to be crying. That may be what it is. Either someone is crying right now because, remember, I mean, like, I broke out of my whole face. So maybe that would mean there's going to be a lot of people crying. Because, I mean, I was allergic to my tears for like 2 years. If I got into my emotions and I cried, if it was just normal water tears, it didn't matter. But if I cried, like tears from emotions, instant. Like, but I mean, I broke out all over. I mean, unless someone's getting an STD, who knows? Let's hope your twin doesn't go off and do something stupid and get an STD. Anyways, these are just some of the things that will let you know that this is a twin. These are some of the things that I've never seen anybody else talk about. And I can only tell you them because this is what I have experienced. That's one of the biggest parts about being a light worker, is that you can help people with your actual what you went through more than you can by telling them. Because when people feel like they're not alone in something, that they're not the only ones going through it, like the guy that I saw doing that first video, like, I am so thankful that he got on that video and he bawled his eyes out, explaining how he felt about the person, his twin, and what had happened and what he was going through and what the dark night of the soul was about. Like, I've tried to find these same videos to share them, and I don't think he has them up anymore. So luckily, I was able to find them whenever I needed them. But I'm just going to tell you guys this. If you see anybody, and this, see, because a lot of people don't realize or they don't know anything about twin flames, and they just go through a season of like straight up wanting to give up on life, you know, and it's what is called the dark night of the soul. If you come in contact with these people that are that depressed, like to the point where they wanted to just run off the earth, try to point them in the direction of the twin flames. Okay? because there's a possibility their twin could have just came in and left. And they're needing to heal their self and get right and let go of the expectation. See, because when I held space the first time was probably the worst thing I could have done. Like, because I held space. I still texted my twin every day, even though it was blocked, because I wrote this book thing. And that was one of the things that helped me process, to help me heal. But that was still sending energetic energy. When your twin detaches and runs from you, you kind of have to do the same, as bad as this may sound. Because when you run from your twin, that's when it flips. It wasn't till I gave up and I was like, screw this. I want to do this no more. I'm fucking hurting. I've been here for years. And I was like, you know what? I changed my phone. He popped up on my phone. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to send one message. I sent one message. We started talking again. Because I was ready to let go then. I don't know. I don't know why it's so strong right now. I guess maybe a lot of you guys are coming back into union, or you guys are figuring out about twin flames for the first time. If you separate from your twin, I want you to know this. You push through that. You do not let go. You push. Not for your twin, for you. You fight for you. This dark night of the soul is going to be no fucking joke. It's going to want to take you completely out. And it will if you let it. Do not give up. You fight. You fight through this shit. You fight through the pain. You fight through the non-feeling. You fight through the not wanting to get up out of bed in the morning. It doesn't matter whether you have met your twin and seen them for 30 seconds. They can ignite the dark night of the soul. That's why I say, if you hear anyone going through this kind of depression, maybe they've came in contact with their twin. They're coming in contact with their twin, even if it's 30 seconds, just saying hi, passing by from the person at the gas station or the person, at the movie theater or, something like that. Just, if you come in contact with your twin, period, it's going to trigger that. That's what happens with photons. It's going to trigger that awakening. It triggers you to be set on your soul path. Kind of like when dominoes fall. When the first domino taps you, the big one, like the different block, it taps you. It affects everything else in your life. You may think it's for the worst, but when you see it towards the end, you will see the reason why. When you see the reason why, that's when it will have been worth it. Karmics are going to be the one that comes in and tries to tempt your relationship. Now, a lot of times some twins are married when they meet. So it's not just any person who comes in and meets someone in a marriage that they're twins. It doesn't work that way. That person, a lot of times it's the karmic that tries to take you from your twin. But upon first meeting, a lot of times twins are married, because sometimes they meet, one person is a lot older than the other one. I don't know why that is. And it's not for everybody, but that's one of the differences. Sometimes they're older. Remember, it just depends on what your life has went through. It can actually still be your same age, or around the same age. But if there was ever something about like age being a big deal, that would be one of the things that your twins could be. Anyways, the karmic, however, will be what shows up as the third party in the readings. And twins have to break a lot of things together. Not like breaking, throwing stuff or nothing like that. But I mean, like, there's a lot of habits. There's a lot of learned trauma responses that aren't us, that we have to learn to let go of. And that's the season now that everyone's supposed to be going through. Unless you are at the very beginning. At the very beginning, you are still in the who are you? I guess I would go back to last night's reading. But now remember though, even if you're a twin flame, you will still be a karmic to other people. Just because you're a twin flame, you can't think that you're not a karmic. You're going to still show up in readings as a karmic. But that doesn't mean you are everyone's karmic. Your twin flame will be the one that will show up for you in your readings. If you're like messing around or talking to someone else that's outside of your connection, and like you're not meant to be with that person, but you're talking to them, you're still going to show up as a karmic, because twin flames are still human beings. We still have, we still are karmics to other people, because remember, karmics still teach people something. Ah, gosh, my stupid finger. Karmics still teach people stuff. So that's just the difference. So the karmic is just the person who is like the tempter spirit. The way that I would describe some readers on here who are kind of pushing towards people to cheat. I'm going to say this. If you have strong morals and you are not about cheating, your twin will be the same. If you are okay with cheating, guess what? You just now found yourself a twin flame who likes to cheat, because your twin is the same as you. Okay? That's if you like to cheat. If you don't like to cheat, your twin can still cheat, but you're not instantly guaranteed to have a cheater for a twin flame. Or if you cheat on yourself, I guess. If you cheat yourself out of things that you want. I don't know. But the karmic is, you're still going to be a karmic to some people, even if you are a twin flame. So if you hear a reading and you align with the karmic side of it, don't freak out. It doesn't mean you're not a twin flame. It doesn't in any way, shape, or form mean you're a twin flame. It means in that story with that person. Because remember, a lot of times we listen to readings, and we can mix up who the story is who the story is actually telling us about. And one story can actually be heard multiple times because we will go through it multiple times if we don't learn the lesson and get off the karmic wheel. There's no such thing as time. And this is hard to explain to normal humans, I think. Like, people don't get this concept. But there is no such thing as actual time. Like, a million years or whatever, how many ever years it is to God. To us, it's going to be one day to God. So time is not real. But our human minds can only think in forms of that. So when a reading is done, a reading can be done now and it be for years down the road. And you may have heard it now, but then it may pop up on your For You page, and that's when you're supposed to hear it the most. Or it could be something that happened 6 months, or it's telling you what has happened. Maybe there's things that you didn't know in the past that will come to light in that, or it could trigger a new feeling about the situation. Sometimes we have to hear old stories, because if we don't, we won't. We can be triggered. Sometimes we have to hear the old stories because we can get a trigger by hearing a piece of something, or get an understanding of the lesson that we were supposed to learn. So that way we don't have to jump on that karmic wheel and do that all over again. Otherwise, you might as well just go ahead and listen to the reading again in 6 months or a year when the cycle starts back over. I know right now, Mars conjunct, the Sun conjunct Mars in Scorpio. So it's going to be a whole lot of like chaos and BS and stuff. And then at the end of it, though, it brings us to where we are meant to be. It's like a revolution kind of thing. But that's what we're in for the next year and a half. So expect natural disasters. Expect like people going crazy and trying to break off of things. Expect people like turning or being tempted away from what they are meant to believe. Because it's going to, sadly enough, start a revolution in the opposite way. But it will break people apart. It will break people apart. Kind of like, you know, how one of the last ones, a lot of countries split. And then they became their own parts. Like, you're even noticing it in the tarot world. People are saying, I'm going to tell you why right now, that tarot is evil. Why is this going on? Remember, not all tarot readers are talking to the same spirit. Not all readers have the same spirit. Remember, there's still the Jezebel spirit. There's still, you know, all these other spirits. But if the reader is not tapped into the divine spirit of truth, they're going to separate. The ones who come out and say that it's evil, it's because that person specifically was not dealing with a good entity. So we can get mad as tarot readers and be like, it's not evil, and start fighting them. It's just, it makes me sad because in my head, I know that the spirit that has been with them has not been a good one. That's where it talks about you test the spirits. If your spirit is good, that's why I always cleanse my area before I even start reading, because then it pushes out the negative spirits and it allows for the spirit of truth to come in, which is God. That's the whole reason why Jesus... We'll cover this in a different reading. This is getting really long. We're just going to go ahead and... Hopefully this narrows it down, okay? We're going to go through a lot for the next year and a half. And that may include the twin flames, because they could be breaking apart, which would cause a lot of crying. If you are crying a lot, listen to me. I've been there, and it's sad, and it's lonely. But I promise you, you can make it through. When you get through this, when you fully get through this, you're going to have a level of knowing that you can withstand anything. If you can take the worst pain upon you, nothing after that will scare you. And I believe in you guys. I really do. If I can do it, you guys definitely can do it, okay? So just stand strong. Especially if you have met your twin and you have separated. And if you are a twin and you've came into union, hold on. You only have so many fights with your twin until you both are healed. Sometimes the separation is still good, though. Sometimes someone needs it. But I hope this helped. Till next time, stay well.